Hey everyone, welcome to week 6. This week is all about late adulthood, so the older generation. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on in this area where people are realizing, hey, my friends are getting sick and or dying, my family members are dying, I might not have my parents alive anymore, my brothers and sisters may be dying or sick. And so we start to see this whole piece where people start to contemplate, what have I done in my life? And how much time do I really have left? And their mortality becomes much more of something in front of them, at the forefront of their conscience. And so they start to look back on their life and say, did I live my life with integrity or do I have despair about it? And so when you're working with this older group, we want to look at things like, what have they done in their life that they regret? What kind of conversations might they want to have before they pass away? What kind of connections do they want to make? And then what are their final goals for their life, right? Well, what kind of legacy do they want to leave? And what sort of pieces cognitively, emotionally, and physically can we help them choose and work towards to kind of create the best end of life possible? So we're going to go through that kind of story work piece with them. The other things to be aware of are that health is declining. It sucks, right? Getting old, it just becomes like, oh my gosh, everything hurts, or oh my gosh, I can't do what I wanted to. And so a lot of times we see people who have retired and then they're like, I don't really have the energy, or my knees don't work the way they want to. So when I don't want to travel to Europe and like walk the cobblestone streets because things hurt, or I just don't want to get on a plane for that long. I don't have it in me anymore. So we're looking at all of those things. We're looking at spending time with children and grandchildren, or maybe their pets and their grandpets, however that looks. Those are important things. Their medications, those are super important right now because a lot of folks are on multiple medications and we don't necessarily always know whether they're having an interaction piece. So we want to look at things like possible delirium that they might be experiencing. And there's an assessment tool called the mini mental state exam that you can give that's super easy, but just to kind of help know, like, are they enduring a stroke? Are they having issues with their medication? What's going on? The other thing to notice is like UTIs, urinary tract infections, can help folks develop psychosis, and it can even lead to death at these ages. And they're very common. So we also want to give them psychoeducation about those pieces, about how to maintain bladder health and urinary health. And so we're working with them with that. Another thing is that their life hasn't stopped. We see a lot of sexual activity in the older generations, and we want to make sure, sorry, my kids are laughing. We want to make sure that we're helping them learn about sexually transmitted infections and diseases and how to be protected. And those just aren't things that they probably thought about in their younger years. And so those are things to help them think about too. The other thing is that, are we having some type of bias about their age, right? Like we tend to see people joking about people who shouldn't be driving anymore because they're too old, or they aren't good with technology because they're too old. And we can't let these things stop us or create biases. We have to think about these things and work with them to help them understand technology, show them how to email or text their grandkids, show them how to post on social media or whatever that is, so that they can also be part of that trend. And working with ourselves to make sure that we're not keeping those biases also. So those are all important. Those are called adultism, when we start to think about kind of the biases we hold towards people of older generations. We want to avoid words like, oh, they're adorable, or they're cute, or calling older folks young lady or young man. Those are all ways that we kind of take away from their own persona, and we don't want to do that. So this week is all about learning about that great stage of life and how we can help those folks. As always, reach out if you have any questions. I'm here to support you, and take care.